Hi there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me. Well, you guys really seem to like the last episode I did on this where I had my stamp recommendations. If I were to really pare it down, I recommended some of my most favorite and most used good value for money stamps. And I thought I would do the same with some sort of dies, supplies and other. I guess I want to keep this really short and this is just a pared down version. This is just my main essentials and this is of course just my opinion. And so I'm going to start off with something that I use most when it comes to dies, and that is some stacked sets. Stacking dies where there are all the same shape but there are kind of all different sizes of that same shape. So these are some of what I have and I really do recommend these. There are many different companies that do these, so have a look around. As with the hearts, there are lots of different shapes of hearts, as you know, and so you really just have to go with the company that you kind of have the best, like their shape the most, whereas rectangles and squares and triangles and circles and things are all pretty standard. This one here, I used oval dies, a few of them. This one here is like a stepped shape card, and so I used a few hearts to create this one. Then with this one, I used the hearts and the circles to create that little cutout, very simple there in the middle. And then on the final one I also used the oval dies, of course, just to create that centerpiece there. So simple, but something I use all the time. Now if I want to step it up a little bit, these are what I reach for. This is the elliptical ovals on the left and the rings around the circle on the right. These are both from Spellbinders and these just happen to give that extra little bit of oomph around the circle or the oval or whatever shape that you are keen to have. Now, sometimes I think you just need that extra little touch in card making, and this is definitely one of those dies that helps me do this. For me, I definitely purchased the plain stacking dies first, but after that I would suggest these more detailed sort of stacking dies. I think these are really valuable in your craft space, card making, scrapbooking, art journaling, whatever you are keen for. So here I used it with some vellum for a little bit of just a delicate background to help that sentiment stand out. This one is the rings around the circle, and again it just adds that extra little element. I do actually have some circle dies used in the middle, the plain ones, but I think the extra little bit around the edge. And then this one here is very plain and simple, but a gorgeous card nonetheless. So I am going to show you card samples for the dies and things that I'm using today, just so you can get a little bit of a better idea on how you can go about using them. Of course, my channel has videos of all of the cards that have been shown today. Now, this is moving on to kind of floral elements, and then one extra that I couldn't resist. On the left is the PinkFresh Studios Dainty Blossoms standalone die set, and this is amazing. In the middle is the Curvy Leaves die set, and I have used this one the most out of anything. This one is one I'll never ever get rid of. And then on the right is the Altenew BURLAP. This is just that extra little element that is so handy when you just need something else in the background or something else going on to break up a busy background. That is what I find this most useful for. But my curvy leaf dies, I could never be without these. So many techniques that you are able to do with these, and they just add that perfect extra little floral or fauna element. Now this one here, of course, I have got the very simple background, an embossed background with some pearl, Here Arts pearl powder. And then I have the elliptical ovals I've used to stamp the sentiment. And then of course the curvy leaves just coming out the top and the bottom. This one here, of course, has the Curvy Leaves die as well. As I said, this was my favorite, but just adding that extra little white element really brings the background into the foreground as well, with that tag die on the front of the card. This one here is the Altenew BURLAP. Just that extra little bit poking out of the corner there is gorgeous in my opinion. It just adds a finishing touch. And then, of course, the black one there is also the Curvy Leaves die, and the PinkFresh Studios Dainty Blossoms is there on the left with the purple ombre vellum. So a few ideas of how you can go about using those. Now, background stamps is something that, again, you don't have to have immediately because you can create a background using smaller stamps. However, these three here, this is the Novel Bold Prints by Hero Arts. Again, by Hero Arts, this is the Pearl Strings bold prints. Hero Arts do a lot of background stamps. They have a huge range. And the one on the right here is by Simon Hurley. This is the Stippled circles, and it also has that cutout of that big line of them along the middle, and then 4 individual stamps that you can pull apart from his backgrounds. He does this quite a lot with his background stamps, and I think this is a fabulous idea to get more from your stamps as well. I've been using these for a long time. Some of these are older, so I'll have to check if they are still available, but everything I will have linked down below if they are still available. Now, moving on to kind of adhesives. Now, I'm not going to be a full, crazy, in-depth video on all things card making because that would just take so long. But here are the 2 double-sided adhesives that I use when it comes to sheets. So this is the scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive. It is a thicker double-sided adhesive. I use it when I want things to stick down, say, a whole sheet of vellum, or I want it to stick down something that is not going to need die cut. The Stick It double-sided adhesive is what I use when I need to die cut something and I need it to have this on the back. Stick It adhesive is very, very thin, wafer thin, and so it means that I can die cut it really easily. Now, this one here is the masking paper of my choice. This is the Gina K Masking Magic. I love this, and I always put the release paper back on after I use my mask. This means that I can store them in the back of my stamp sets and reuse them over and over again. This is the masking paper that I think holds up the best to a lot of ink and water and everything you can throw at it. This one here is the Sizzix Sticky Grid Sheets. This is what I use to put in my stamping platforms so that I no longer have to use magnets. There are 5 in that pack and they are double-sided, which means I get 10 uses out of them. This is my low-tack tape of choice. This is mint tape. I absolutely love this. Never, ever, ever once have I ripped a project using mint tape, and that also comes in this 4-inch wide roll, which is also fantastic for masking. Not as well when it comes to water, like holding up against water, because it is a paper-based product, but absolutely brilliant for tacking things down and light masks as well when you're inking. Now, as for vellum and acetate, I only have these 2. I just have 1 of each. Hero Arts acetate sheets. These are my absolute favorite. My main reason is that it says on the bottom there, works well with metal dies, because you can die cut these like a breeze. And the frustration that when you try and die cut acetate with some of them and it really doesn't work is so frustrating. This is the Lawn Fawn Vellum, and again, there is one reason why I like this, and because I can emboss with this vellum. I can do heat embossing, I can emboss these in embossing folders. It is a little bit heavier vellum. It is 36 pounds, which means that it is perfect for all things card making. So these are the 2 that are tried, tested, and I love them and wouldn't go astray from them. I just love them. Okay, when it comes to a few of my tools and kind of pens, and I just want to really quickly kind of run through these, and these are just the absolute basics. I think starting off with a glitter pen as well is actually a really good idea. I think this is a good way to add a little bit of detail when you don't want to go full on glitter. I'm going to bring in some black paper and some white paper just so that you can get a rough idea. This is called the Clear Glitter Pen from scrapbook.com. I only have 1 of these. I know that you can get these in lots of different colors, lots of different all sorts, but this is just my favorite. I like how it comes out. You can make it come out faster, slower, and it dries to be pretty clear, but it has this kind of silver glitter. So I did wait until these dry. The white one on white is a little bit hard to pick up on the camera, but it is very, very shimmery, and I love it. So moving on from that is my little pick tool. Now this one I think is from Kaisercraft. It's maybe $2 or so, but honestly something I use every single card making session. A fine liner black pen is also brilliant. I use this a lot, particularly for fixing mistakes where things didn't quite stamp perfectly in black, but also for drawing in strings and flower stems and all those sorts of little things. A water brush, my preferred and favorite is the Altenew medium water brush. As I said, there are also a huge range of those available, water brushes and things. That's just my favorite. Now this is a cheap and cheerful pickup tool. This is a wax pencil for picking up little gems and things and placing them down. Now, when it comes to these, I have had the most luck buying this in a 3-pack. These are the Uniball gel pens. Now, I have purchased the white ones individually many times because lots of people say these are amazing. However, I have found them to be not so, but when I buy these in a 3-pack, don't ask me why, they work so much better. I'm not sure whether that's something to do with them being sealed better or, I have no idea, but honestly, I just find that these work so much better. I love the white pen. I'm completely sold on it when I buy these in a 3-pack, so I guess that's just how I go, but they absolutely work brilliantly on black and of course on white. Now, last but not least, and this kind of comes under a weird category, but I couldn't leave these out, these are sentiment strips. Now, of course, you have seen the paper rose sentiments that I love using. I have the black and white, and I also have the all occasions. Now, these look really nice, but I promise you, I have used these to death. These just have all the sentiments that you could possibly need. They have black backgrounds and white backgrounds, and then I just store everything behind here. All the scraps, all the goodness, and I just go for gold with these. Then these are the Simon Says stamp ones of the same equivalent, give or take. Of course, they're different sizes, they're different fonts. And again, I just store all of my leftovers in the back there, and I've been enjoying doing that for the moment. If there's any other supplies that you would like me to cover off in a video similar to today's, then let me know in the comments section down below. Otherwise, I will do my best to have everything linked the best I can if it's still available down below. And other than that, I will see you in the next video. Thanks, bye!